Since the launch of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam in 2011, relations between Ethiopia and Egypt have been strained. The Ethiopian dam is built on the upstream of the Nile River, 30 kilometers from the Ethiopian border with Sudan. When completed, this $4.8 billion project will be the largest hydroelectric power station in Africa and the 7th largest in the world. Officially, the dam is almost finished, and the Ethiopian government insists that the filling of the reservoir will start in the rainy season of 2020.
In our joint chapter published in the annual Geopolitical report at the Policy Center for the New South, Sara and I exposed the Egyptian and Ethiopian perspectives concerning the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam to understand the internal rhetoric around this project from both sides. Ethiopia and Egypt have been negotiating the shared use of the Blue Nile since the 1990s and have continued to do so afterwards. However, negotiations have been in a deadlock for the past years due to the difficulties in finding a common ground between the three riparian states. The 2011 announcement of the dam's construction came at a critical time. Egypt-Ethiopia relations were tense, Cairo was largely disengaged from regional diplomacy, and it has frozen its participation in the Nile Basin Initiative. It is evident that the popular uprising in 2011 in Egypt that toppled President Mubarak was key for Ethiopia to make substantial progress on the dam. At the beginning, Egypt's priority was to dissuade Ethiopia from pursuing the dam's project, combining hard and soft power strategies. However, shortly after, Egypt faced the fact that the dam has been built and will soon start operating, and has since concentrated its smart power efforts on trying to reach an agreement with Ethiopia on the filling period. Accordingly, Egypt's priority is to ensure that the dam's operations do not drastically reduce water flow, especially since the country is food and water insecure and its population is expected to reach 130 million by 2030.
The Nile is Egypt's existential lifeline, but it is also a central resource for Ethiopia's growth strategy and symbolizes its ambition to take its development a step further, becoming an influential regional player. Addis Ababa has long argued that its two neighbors to the north share the entire course of the river, disregarding its own needs. Recording double-digit growth rates through the past 2 decades, Ethiopia's population stands at approximately 110 million people. The lack of secure and reliable electricity is a major constraint for doing business in Ethiopia, and the young working population also required ever greater access to electricity. The lack of secure and reliable electricity is a major constraint to doing business in Ethiopia, and the young working population also requires ever greater access to electricity. Ethiopia hopes the dam will allow it to implement its climate-resilient green economic strategy and meet the needs of its ever-growing population, transforming the second most populous country in Africa into a key regional and continental energy hub. Discussions between the three riparian states of the Blue Nile are at a deadlock, and the Egyptian government insists this large hydroelectric dam will have a dramatic impact on its water supply. Most of the disputes between Egypt and Ethiopia is now centered around the technical aspects, principally the filling of the dam.
The increasing tensions between Ethiopia and Egypt over the Grand Renaissance Ethiopian Dam have fed into speculations about a major regional conflict over the Nile waters. The stakes for each country's internal stability are extremely high, which makes the possibility of finding a common ground very difficult. Egypt perceives the Ethiopian dam as a threat to its national security and has been calling for international arbitration.
However, for Ethiopia, it is a matter of national sovereignty, and the Nile water dispute is an African issue. Therefore, it must have an African solution. This critical situation surrounding the Ethiopian dam demonstrate new regional realities and modern dynamics of power and influence around the Nile basin.